Welcome everyone to a chat with our latest Women's Net winner of the Amber Grant. Today we're speaking with Ty Harris of the Sweetberry Company, which was formerly Sweetberry Books, and she is our Amber Grant winner for May 2021. I'm Marsha Layton Turner, and I'm just one of the members of the Women's Net Advisory Board. So Ty, welcome. So glad that you're able to chat with us. And let's kind of start at the beginning and have you tell us about your business. Why did you start it? What do you sell?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first, thank you, Marsha, for being part of a group that has afforded women like myself to have the opportunity to be a recipient of the Amber Grant. So thank you so much. So excited to be May's recipient of the Amber Grant.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Thank you. Sweetberry Books, or Sweetberry Books originally, but the Sweetberry Company really got started from one eventful just exchange from one of my very young students. So about 13 years ago, I left a career in pharmaceutical sales to join the Teach for America Corps. It was kind of a passion of mine to teach inner city youth. So my first class with the Corps, Teach for America class, it was a kindergarten class in Philadelphia. And we were just one unassuming day having a lesson where the kids had to draw what they wanted to be, and we were going to make a comic book, cartoon comic book of, what we're going to be when we grow up. And half of the students were having trouble thinking about what they wanted to be, and the other half got really busy to work kind of drawing athletes, entertainers. But the other half, it wasn't that they were spoiled for choice, it was almost as if they didn't know what they could be. So in the drawings that had already been drawn, I noticed that no careers like a teacher, a police officer, a fireman, a doctor had been drawn. So I kind of said, hey guys, who wants to be a doctor? Raise your hand. And before the students could even answer, one of my most bubbly students, his name is Salim, he laughed. And he said, before anyone could even say anything, he laughed and he said, Mrs. Harris, we can't be doctors, we're Black. And it stopped me in my tracks, and the whole class started laughing. Now this is a class of 5 and 6-year-olds, and it was inner city Philly, 100% Black, and about 90% low income. Now I don't say that to say that this demographic doesn't think that they can become anything, not at all. Right. But later statistics will show when I start the Sweetberry Company exactly why that was very, very important. But it just blew me away that was the thought. And of course, while I was with those students, we did so much around Black history and lessons where we can integrate that in, but it never left me. And I started to think, how can I help change the narrative with this? Because at the end of the day, you can't be what you don't see. And you will not become, you can't achieve what you don't believe. And the thing was, it just needs exposure. And it's starting so young. And this was years ago when this first started. So I thought about it over the course of years, of course, like a couple years, and decided that my contribution would be to use some of my creativity skills, my teaching skills, to start with books. And that was important because, like I mentioned, the demographic, because there have been studies that show that children are they're more susceptible to like reading if they see characters that look like them, or if they see characters that have a community like theirs. But aside from that, there was an IEA study that showed that nearly 60% of low-income homes have no books in their home at all for the kids. And as I was teaching, I found that there were little, if any, books that my students could see themselves represented in. And I was an early elementary school teacher. So we're talking kindergarten to 3rd or 4th grade. And there were hardly any books where the students could see themselves. And also in this community, there's usually like one book per 300 students. This is statistically speaking. Now, this was in 2014, and we hope these demographics and these statistics have changed. Yeah. But nonetheless, it really fueled me to want to do something different to help shape the narrative. So the first book was Look What Brown Can Do for Sweetberry Books. It is like a little kid version of a Black history book. It's made for little eyes and little fingers. It's illustrated. It's written in ways they can read and understand. And we're not just talking about Black history champions that we all kind of know about. Many of them, many we don't know about. And it just kind of Sweetberry Books, and then the Sweetberry Company blossomed to more books, more that we now have products that have characters on them, because the point is, representation matters is so much more than a hashtag. It's so much more than a hashtag. And we want every child to be able to see themselves as a hero and as a main character. And while these books are perfect for any household, it means so much to me that I'm able to put them in hands of kids that look like me and look like I did. And I didn't have that when I was a kid either. So that's Sweetberry Books.
That's
Sweetberry
awesome.
Company.
And what are the other two titles that you have in front of you?
Yes, in front of us, I have Kaylee Bailey. This book was written because we often see books that have Black characters, and they are centered around either Black culture, our hair, maybe Black history. But I wanted there to be a book series where it's just a character doing little kid stuff. So this is just Kaylee. She's just Kaylee. She tends to take things very, very literally. So this is called Scaredy Cat, and she thinks when she gets scared, she turns into a cat. So it's pretty cute. And this book here, it's a coloring book, and it was birthed in our quarantine. So the kids, something for an activity book for something for the kids to do. All Black culture. There's beautiful, beautiful illustrations and quotes from Black champions. Just a beautiful, beautiful book. And we have others and other products on the website as well.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, obviously you've been very successful so far. Oh no.
Thank you. Okay.
What do you think has been your secret? What's gotten you to this point?
Well, to be perfectly honest, this is something that I'm extremely passionate about. And when you are starting a business, businesses have challenges. They have major challenges and minor challenges, but what really keeps me going is receiving back. I get videos all the time, messages all the time, just the reviews and the pictures and the videos. It's so much bigger than me that it really has helped on the days that it's kind of, you kind of think, do I have anything left in me?
Right.
But when you get a mother to write you and say, my child now wants to be an electrical engineer with a focus on cellular technology, right? And they're 8, that means so much. And you get grown-ups saying, I didn't know I could sing opera. I wanted to when I was a kid, but I didn't know this was here. I didn't know this world existed. So those are the type of things that say to me, you're doing a good job and keep going. And that to me is more success than anything.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, so take me back. How did you hear about the Amber Grant, and what made you decide to apply?
I heard about the Amber Grant because I was just generally looking for grants. And the Amber Grant stuck out in a huge way because not only was this centered around women in businesses, but I saw an array of women. I went on the website and I saw that this grant had been given to so many different businesses doing so many amazing things, and also women of all walks and cultures in life. And that just stuck out to me among all the rest. And I was so grateful to even be able to apply, and now to be a winner is amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, speaking of winning, so now that you've won $10,000 to grow the company, what are some of the first investments that you think you'll make with that?
Absolutely. So the Sweetberry Company has been afforded some pretty great opportunities that haven't been able to scale as well as I would like them to due to inventory. Typically, I just keep around 200, 100, 200 books of each copy of the books. And that's not, from a publisher's perspective, that's a very low amount of inventory. So when I get opportunities to perhaps put a book in the Smithsonian National African American Museum or other African American museums, whether it be one in North Carolina or LA, or, they're asking for such large amounts. And on a monthly basis, they might say, hey, this is wonderful. We want to place you here. We have very few items for children. This is great. We'll take 550 copies or 1,200. And so at that point, it's a matter of timing. It's a matter of costs. It's a matter of, those things. But with the Amber Grant, one of the first things that will happen are getting those numbers, those inventories numbers up right away, so that I can fulfill those orders as well as sell on my own. Yeah. And once this happens again, go to trade shows and pop-up shops and be able to interact more with my merchandise. And aside from that, we have some pretty great things in the pipeline for stories, expanding with the line for older kids from middle grade. And one of them I'm really, really excited about is going to feature Black children and children of color with disabilities. And that's going to take a different kind of illustrator, because it's comic book form. And illustrators are costly, as they should be. It takes a lot of expertise. So the Amber Grant is going to help us propel those projects forward.
Fantastic. Well, you kind of gave us a little bit of a taste of what's to come next, and that was going to be my next question. What are your future plans? So beyond, say, the next 6 months to a year, what do you see for the Sweetberry Company?
Oh my goodness, we've got so many great plans. I'm so excited, Marsha. I'm so excited. So we have planned to partner with charter schools and large organizations that service minority, urban, low-income youth. And typically we do see a lot of children of color there. So like I said, charter schools like Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, and we are planning to start something, it's tentatively called right now, the Sweetberry Book Club. And the purpose of it is to get booklets and like magazine type books into the hands of these kids so that they can take something home, something that's encouraging, something that they can have and keep for themselves. And it wouldn't be a charge because it's a partnership with these different entities, but it really means a lot to be able to give a child something that's going to inspire them and encourage them to look towards the future and show them what they can do. And so that I'm really excited about that. In addition to that, probably early next year, I'm currently working on a specialty coloring book that is going to specifically be for jails and prisons, for activity time, for visiting day. A lot of times kids like this, they kind of get overlooked, and I'm passionate about that. I don't want anyone to be overlooked. So while they'll still be aligned with our goal to make sure that every child is represented and they get to see themselves as a main character, those are two of the major things that are coming down the pipeline, in addition to some more books.
Wow, got a lot going on. That's awesome. Yeah. That's good. I'm excited. Yeah. Well, do you have any advice? So many of the women in our community are getting started, trying to find their way to, get to where you are. So do you have any advice for them? Anything you've learned along the way that might help them?
Sure. Marsha, I got to tell you, to hear you say to get where you are, that's humbling. This is very, very humbling, because my biggest advice would be to honor your journey. Because sometimes we often, especially women, we look at everything we have to do. We're moms, or we're not moms, we're aunts, we're working, we're taking care of responsibilities, we might be caring for other people. And so we heap a lot on our shoulders, and we think, I should be here, I should be doing this, I should be this already. And it doesn't help sometimes social media, we see other people with some measure of success that we think we should have maybe gotten there already. But it really is a journey. And so sometimes we have to honor that journey and celebrate what we've already done. And that would be my biggest piece of advice. If you find something that you're really passionate about, and even it doesn't even have to be something you're super passionate about, but you've decided you want to work it, and give your all and build it, do so, but also give yourself the grace to say, I honor where I am. And right now, I mean, it's okay to go cook dinner and take a break and say, maybe I'll take a nap tomorrow, as opposed to getting on the grind. We hear a lot of stories about you just gotta grind. And sometimes that can feel pretty stressful, especially when you're building a business. So honor the journey. You don't have to be anywhere you're not right now. You're in the best place you are. Keep building and celebrate today.
Excellent advice.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to share your story with the Women's Net community. I really appreciate it. And congratulations again for being our May Amber Grant winner.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.